face-off. Oh my Josh, it's Josh Whitcomb and their team captain, John Richardson. And facing them tonight, rise and shine, it's Lorraine Kelly. The Smile High Club, it's Rob Beckett. And their team captain, John Locke. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats Uncut, a show all about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 47% of people think their partner isn't interested in hearing about their day? Correct. 75% of Americans do a big weekly food shop every day. And only 29% of women reach orgasm every time they have sex. I've got a tip for those women, or if they like, I could put the whole thing in. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. Tonight, it's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 3 most talked about stories of the year. John Steen, what do you think the nation will be talking about this year?
It must be the Wimbledon final.
Oh, exciting.
No.
No.
Tennis.
What's the matter with tennis?
Well, I'll be dead honest with you. I used to play the third most boring sport known to man. Cricket, only trumped by tennis and Formula 1.
Do you not like cricket?
It was a means to an end.
I thought it was an incredible thing. A British man won for the first time in 77 years.
And he hasn't won it since, Jimmy. Let's not let him off. This country hasn't had a Wimbledon winner for nearly 6 months now, and I've had enough. The sad thing, it's a boring name, Andy Murray, as well, isn't it? If his name was, like, Dick Gobbler or something, then... At least now in 50 years, when Sue Barker goes, and of course Britain hasn't had a Wimbledon men's champion since Dick Gobbler. Just going to keep hearing Andy Murray all the time.
It was weird that this whole talk about 77 years of wait is over. And actually, when he won, it was like, thought I'd feel better than that. To me, nothing really can trump that dressage gold at the Olympics.
Lorraine, you're Scottish, so presumably
I am
Andy...
well spotted.
Well, you're not like full-on Scottish. You're like
Just a wee tiny bit.
I can understand what you're saying. You're Scottish light.
OK, I'm glad you laughed.
Now, did it mean a lot to you? That
Oh,
Andy...
absolutely. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I think it's a shame that everybody goes on about him being dour.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he's Scottish. I mean, you know.
He spread sunshine everywhere, doesn't he?
And remember he cried. Remember he cried when he lost, and then we quite liked him because he cried. No?
No, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I mean, the reason I don't like tennis is because I'm left-handed, and you know you can't play if you're left-handed. So
You can.
you can't play tennis.
You can.
You can't play tennis with your left hand.
Yes, you can. You can do whatever you like.
There's no left-handed tennis players.
There is.
Other than Nadal?
There's loads.
He's all right. That's his greatest trick, is making us think he's using his left hand. If you hit the ball, if you've tennis ball, if you've got the right hand, you hit it, it goes that way. But if you've got your left hand, you hit it, it goes behind you. I have to play backwards like that. There's someone shouting me where the ball's coming. That's why I gave up. This is a stupid game. I'm with Freddie on this.
And the worst thing about it is, as well, you go to Wimbledon, I went for 10 minutes once. They put fruit in your drink. Fruit in your drink?
Did you, like, order a pint of John Smith's and then when you weren't looking, they were shoving strawberries?
But you're a tennis fan, aren't you, Jimmy? You like your tennis.
I love it. I think it's incredible.
Why is tennis incredible?
It's like cricket, but instead of him hitting it and it going at 50 yards
I'm
away...
not protecting cricket here. I know it's boring.
Do you like
I've got no... There's no two ways about it.
Given that the exciting bit of cricket is when he hits it, imagine if the guy at the other end hit it straight back.
OK, let's have a look and see if it's up there. Of course it is. Yes, in July, Andy Murray won Wimbledon for the first time. Sue Barker presented Murray with the trophy 77 years after she presented it to Fred Perry. All across across Scotland, people stopped what they were doing to watch the historic match. They paused Braveheart, put down their crack pipes, turned off the Proclaimers and finished... and finished frantically searching between their toes for a viable vein to salute Murray's amazing victory. Sean's team, what do you think the nation will be talking about this year?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still riding high on the royal baby news. It's hard to come down from that, isn't it? There's very few moments in your life that give you that sort of, like, just buzz.
Any parenting advice for them, Sean? You've got kids. Anything you would pass on to this young couple embarking on the adventure of parenthood?
Oh, it's hard. Mind you, I don't do a lot of it, so...
It's really, that's more advice for William, isn't it?
It looks pretty hard. From where I'm phoning from, it looks really hard.
Rob, what do you make of the royal baby?
Well, I love the bit they got takeaway. They got pizzas, didn't they? Kate
Yeah,
and William
to the
got
hospital,
you got the bodyguard to go and collect the pizzas, and everyone's saying, "Why don't you just get them delivered?" But it's half price, isn't it? If you get them collected. Well, you've got a kid on the way. You've got to start thinking about money, ain't you?
Lorraine, did you cover it much on the show? You covered
Oh,
it.
much? It was just like all the time, pretty much all the time.
Some people got annoyed with the amount of coverage they had to do. Some news reporters got a little bit sort of sick of it. Now, have a look at this.
Not everybody is enjoying the spectre of the speculation, endless speculation. A couple of texts coming in to the BBC. Come on, BBC, people do have babies. Stop saying the same thing over and over. Give us the rest of the news. What a load of sycophantic rubbish, says another. Good morning. And God help us if this ends up a long labour. That's a view that I have heard expressed here by a couple of people. So, you know, we'll just wait and see. But until then, we're going to be speculating about this royal birth with no facts to hand at the moment.
You've sort of got to admire his honesty there. He's just going,
Completely. I actually like that. I like when people just say it as it is. Very refreshing.
John, what do you make of it?
Well, it's obviously significant, isn't it? But the coverage of it was... Because it was there, it was a 12-hour labour, which is double what she'd done to that point in her life.
Freddie, were you excited about the royal birth?
No.
No.
It's nice. Everyone has children. I've got 3 myself, but we didn't get that sort of billion.
Would you give any advice to the royal parents? Kate,
Yeah, you've got to get him into a strict routine, make him sleep through early doors.
I imagine that's easier for you than most parents because you are terrifying. So if you say to a baby, go to sleep, it'll go, all right.
To be fair, compared to a baby, everyone's quite terrifying. Like, compared to a baby, I'm quite intimidating.
No, not you.
Okay, fair.
Not a good example to pick. You look younger than the royal baby.
Oh, he does. But he's so cute. No, I know, but you're cute. Looking at me face, you're so cute. You know what? When you're 90, you'll still look like that. You'd be glad.
I didn't come on here to be flirted with by Lorraine. Do you know the last time I met Lorraine? I've only met Lorraine once, and I want to kind of clear this up because you had a very similar approach of kind of flirt patronisation. And then just before I left, I was getting in the taxi from this show, and as the door was closing, you said, if I was 20 years younger, and the door closed. And I've got no idea how that sentence ended.
You'd be an embryo.
I think she meant if I was 20 years younger.
All right, let's have a look and see if it's up there. Of course. Yes, William and Kate had a baby boy this year. When George was christened, Kate and William decided to shun fuddy-duddy royal tradition and chose university friends to be godparents. So they chose Lord Trumpington Smedley Posh, Tarquin Farquhar II and Lady Poshington Toffeenose of the Norfolk Toffeenoses. OK, fingers on buzzers. One more thing still to get. What do you think?
Is it the old gay thing? Marriage. They're doing that now, aren't they? That's allowed now. There's a thing gone in the Lords, you know, some sort of rule. You know, when stuff happens, old people make a decision, then there's a law. gay people can get married. Is that right?
Yeah. They still can't get married in church, can they?
No. Can't they?
No, but they can get married.
Yeah, but the Church of England has said... I don't know where the Catholic Church stands on this.
I think
but
they've said no.
They've said no as well. Which I think is fine crazy, really, because what they should do, they should test the actual power of their faith by having a gay marriage in the church. And if it bursts into flames, it's obviously not a good idea and God doesn't like it. And that, because God would let you know if he thought something was really out of order.
Of course
I mean, he hasn't done with other stuff, to be fair. He's let quite a lot slip through the net.
I think it's a good thing. I really do.
Definitely.
Because, like, my best mate is Paddy. If I married Paddy, I could go to football with him. We could play PlayStation. We would never argue. The sex is a problem.
Go IKEA and just have meatballs. That'd be quality, wouldn't it? No furniture, meatballs, then home. Perfect IKEA trip, wouldn't it?
Well, I really think we've got to the heart of this issue.
The arguments against it are the best thing, because there are people who are just against it because they're slightly homophobic, but they can't say that, so they have to quickly come up with a... Like Norman Tebbit, who went, what if we had a lesbian queen? I think that's the tribute band this country has been waiting for.
Well, the thing is that the people against it always go, oh, it's promoting homosexuality, but it's not promoting it like you'll get swept up in it. It's not a choice if you're gay or not. Do you know what I mean? It's not like if someone keeps banging on about it, you're going to give it a go, like the 5-2 diet. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's sexuality, not Pilates. Do you know, you're not going to get swept away by other people's recommendations.
The Gambian president said it's going to lead to the end of humanity. I would believe that if we found some evidence that that had led to the end of the dinosaurs. If we dug up a dinosaur and he was, you know, with a rainbow flag...
Is this your idea for Jurassic Park 6?
Jurassic Park 6?
Actually, the Tyrannosaurus has something of the... He's nice.
People say, oh, it's going to... If it's ruined, it overshadows family life, it's going to ruin the kind of institution of the family. It's not. No dad is going to go, oh, sorry, I forgot to pick you up from school, because I was marrying a man. I'm not just going out, going, oh, I can do it now, I'm going to marry John. I'm not...
I'll do it.
No, I'm not going to do that now.
Well, it's on camera now, isn't it?
Oh, please get married, then you can come on my show. It'd be lovely. We could do like a lovely makeover on both of you, and it'd be gorgeous.
What's the problem with what we look like now?
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with you now, but if you're getting married, for goodness sake, you're going to take this seriously. If you're getting married, you have to look better.
Well, I can tell you, gay marriage is not in our top 3. Now that gay people can get married, there's going to be an explosion of extravagant, flamboyant and over-the-top weddings. Move over, fat gypsies, it's about to get fabulous. Fingers on buzzers.
Is it Edward Snowden who kind of spread a load of secrets about the USA and then went on the run? And then no country would take him. And there was a point where, like, every country was going, Ecuador was saying no and Russia was saying no, and you're thinking, he's going to have to go through clearing. He's going to end up extradited to Nottingham-Trent. That's how this is. They described him as the world's most fuckable nerd. It's disastrous for John, who's been knocked off tonsils.
My favourite quote of his was, I don't want to live in a world where everything I say is recorded, which he said in a recorded interview with the Guardian newspaper.
Apparently his girlfriend's a ballerina and a pole dancer. No one is ever a ballerina and a pole dancer. It's like when you say I'm an actor and I work in a call centre as well. I'm so busy.
What do you make of Edward Snowden, Sean?
I think what's interesting about him is his name, Edward Snowden. He doesn't sound like a spy. Weirdly, he sounds like a newsreader, which he sort of is, but nobody wants him to be.
You've lost me on this one. I thought we were talking about a mountain in Wales.
There's a man called Edward Snowden and he's leaked 58,000 documents detailing how the US government spies on other secret agencies around the world.
He don't play tennis, does he?
He's not involved in sport in any way, so...
He's all right then.
Do you like any sport?
Not really.
Are you Freddie Flintoff?
Freddie looks a bit like if me and Josh combined forces and turned into an actual grown-up man. He might look like Freddie.
Yeah.
I've had some insults in my time, that is the worst.
So, Edward Snowden, any thoughts on
Well,
anything?
I just think it's really strange. You know, we saw very recently, we saw the sort of 3 spy chiefs that were actually brought before the
yes,
government. And
Parliament.
they've been having a real go at him, obviously. And it was really, really disappointing. I don't want to see my spy chiefs in real true life. I want to, in my head, think that they're James Bond. And it's so, and they just look like 3 blokes.
I wanted one of them to pick up their pen and go and click it, and then the guy dies.
I know. Well, that would have been
Click it, and the
brilliant.
guy's head explodes. You go, oh, sorry, wrong pen.
But nothing like that happened, and that was disappointing.
That Julian Assange bloke, he's been cooped up in that embassy, is it?
In Ecuador? Uh-huh.
Ecuadorian embassy. And he's in a room, and all he's got is a space for a mattress on the floor and 1 chair. Do you know what I mean? And he went, oh, no, it's all right, it's like living in a space station. Like, if this whistleblowing don't work out, he should be an estate agent. It's like showing you a room with no roof going, but who don't like stars? Do you know what I mean? Who needs a roof when you got up there?
I'm bored of him. He's such a boring man, isn't he?
It's dreadful.
He looks pasty and ill.
You're sitting next to Josh when you're saying that. I'm pretty sure we booked your ghost. Look at you. If I didn't have your name written down, I would think Casper was here. You look...
I'm ill.
He's not well. The wee soul's not well. Be nice. He's not well.
I don't think he's got long. I think we should record, and this show's dedicated to Josh Whittaker, who sadly passed away during the record.
When you say during the record, that implies that you wouldn't finish the record.
Of course we'd finish the record. Who do you think you are?
To be fair, I've seen you die on a panel show before anyway, Josh.
OK. Well, I can tell you, Edward Snowden is not one of the most talked about things. OK, fingers on buzzers, one more thing to get. What was the other big story this year? What do you think, Sean?
It's the tragic... Thatcher's death is just dreadful. I find it very hard to talk about it without breaking down. And the way I found out was particularly hard because I was actually driving to Yeovil, had a gig in Yeovil, and I didn't have the radio on. And I thought something had happened because a man drove past me the other way, punching the roof of his car. Literally, he's got this going, woohoo! I thought, I'll switch the radio on, and that's how I heard the news.
Protesters in Brixton chanted Maggie, 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 dead, 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 and then rearranged the local cinema, now showing board, to say this.
If you went to the cinema that night and you're going, well, shall I see Maggie Thatcher's Dead or shall I watch LOL?
Lorraine, what did you think of Margaret Thatcher? Feminist icon? What do you think? First female Prime
I
Minister?
don't think she did very much for women. I think she could have done a lot more for women when she was in power, and she didn't. She wasn't a woman's woman, shall we say. So, no, I don't think she was a feminist icon at all. I think you have to admire her achievements.
Through
whilst-
gritted teeth.
Kind of, yes.
I don't think she was a person's woman. I always say, I mean, when it happened, you know, there were people who had parties. I mean, I didn't have a party. I mean, it was drinks, nibbles, a few friends. You wouldn't call it a party. I just feel a lot of tribute that should have been made. They should have done a really fitting tribute, which is when they cremated her, they ran out of coal.
Also, they brought her up on a gun carriage. They always have these gun carriages. Once, just once, you're going, fire her into the church. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? What a waste of a gun carriage.
But she lived in the Ritz. Who lives in the Ritz? What a ridiculous place to live.
Someone who doesn't want to pay council tax.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look and see whether it's one of the top stories of the year. The top story. So those were the most talked about stories. But also, the horse meat scandal erupted this year. When I eat a burger, I want my animal lips, hooves, testicles, spinal cord, eyeballs and arseholes to be mechanically blasted off cow carcasses, not horses. It's disgusting. And a new pope was elected. The previous pope retired. Pulled out early. Typical Catholic. So at the end of that round, John's team have 1 point, Sean's team have 2 points. So next round is Pick of the Polls. John, Freddie, Josh, pick a question.
Can we have the tennis player?
OK, cricket. Here's your question. Most people prefer playing sport to watching it on TV. True or false? What do you think?
I never liked playing sport because I was very unsporting.
Really?
I'm not very good at sport. When we did the cross country, by the time I finished, they'd packed away the finish line. So essentially, I'm still running that race to this day.
Playing sport to me is like, would you put something in the bin or would you throw it from the other side of the room? And in that sense, but I will still, if we've got an hour spare, I'll stand in front of my living room wall with a tennis ball and I'll bounce it against the wall like I'm a goalkeeper that's been lobbed. And I have to run back and just tip it over the couch. And I'll happily do that for an hour.
I've done that.
You should probably buy a telly, mate. Lorraine, are you sporty? Do you do
No,
sports?
well, I don't really do very much sport, but I love to watch football. And
You watch football? Who's your team?
Dundee United.
OK, and you like football as well?
Yeah. We've got the most handsome manager. He's gorgeous, and we have got the most beautiful strips. Fantastic colour, tangerine and black.
What I like, Lorraine, is you're really moving the idea of what a female football fan like really forward.
Sean, you watch a lot of sport, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, playing-wise, kabaddi's my game. I love kabaddi.
Is that the one you've got to breathe out?
It's so hard to find other people who take it seriously. Yeah.
What, kabaddi? No,
Yeah.
I mean...
No, I would think the weird thing is about these days is if you say watching sport, if you haven't got Sky, you've got no choice. You have to play it. Because there's no sport on any other channels, is there? It's all on Sky, isn't it? What sports have the BBC got anymore?
If you want to see what kind of sports the BBC have got, I've got a clip, an archive clip of the BBC. This is one of their greatest sporting moments. Have a little look.
At least Britons will never be slaves to the dartboard. Certainly, no one's anxious to play with champion Joe Hitchcock around. The start of his 6-inch nail act is the moment for everyone to watch. When not at a holiday camp, you'll likely find him astounding the regulars in pubs all over the country. For Joe's ability to throw a pretty dart has earned him a job with a leading brewery.
Sports. OK, so most people prefer playing sport to watching on TV. What do you think?
I don't know. I'd done the cricket,
Yeah.
which 5 days stood in the field is tough. It's probably tougher to watch. And then I tried the boxing.
Just in case people don't know the story, so you trained to be a professional fighter and had a professional fight against an American?
It was a strange thing because the boxing, which I found was... It's quite a camp sport. We went for the weigh-in. You strip down to your underpants. You stand in front of a man eyeballing him in front of a room full of other men. And I'm stood at this fella thinking, what am I doing? We did it.
I suppose you're competing for a belt and a purse. It is quite camp.
Yeah. And
You won the fight, didn't you?
yeah, I wouldn't like it to be investigated. I did win, yes.
Yeah.
What happened to him? Has he won any other fights since?
He could not return to America. Been beaten in a boxing ring by a cricketer who is soft as shit.
When you say you're as soft as shit, I mean, you're sitting next to two people that are maybe, like, no offence, fellas, but maybe a little bit softer.
I think I could beat up.
He stood up too quickly and felt faint there.
I think I'd beat John in a boxing match. No?
Well, let's do it.
I reckon we should.
Fight,
I reckon we should do this.
Fight.
This isn't the Middle Ages or the schoolyard.
The Middle Ages?
Is that not the kind of trash-talking people do?
Mate, you've not quite acquired the taste of trash talking. No, I would beat you tomorrow.
Would you like a knuckle sandwich?
You won't be able to eat any you won't be able to eat any sandwiches without any teeth.
I'll lend you some, Josh.
He's like John Bishop's love child, isn't he? He's got...
Mine are real, though. These are whitened, didn't they?
Yours are really like that.
Yeah, these are au naturel.
Oh, yeah.
Did you fall in something as a child?
I don't know what.
Can you eat an apple through a fence?
Yeah, this is what they're like. I can't help it.
And you haven't had anything done, like Jimmy's had done?
It's like my mum drank a lot of milk when she was pregnant, and my dad's an horse.
OK, let's get answers on this. So most people prefer playing sport to watching on TV. True or false? What are you going to go for, John?
True. False.
Oh, I'm right in the middle. He's bigger. True.
What are you going to go for, Sean?
Well, false. Just to make it a bit competitive. A bit of fun. Let's put some money on. How much do you reckon?
I'll put a tenner on it.
Yeah. How many markets are in play now? Whatever that means. Loads of markets in play. Now!
So you said true, you said false. I tell you the answer is false. Only 36% of people prefer playing sport to watching on TV. OK, Sean's team, what do you like the look of?
I think the wee women.
They're hiding behind the bush.
OK. A recent survey revealed that 50% of people don't know their neighbours' names. So we asked our studio audience, do you try and avoid contact with your neighbours, yes or no? Do you get on with your neighbours, Rob?
I try and get on with them, but I think they avoid me, to be honest with you. I like a chat, and sometimes they just want to shoot straight off. But I panic if I see my neighbours outside of, like, the house, like, near the house environment. When you see them in the high street, I just get panicked because it's a new situation. There's no small talk to go like, oh, the bins ain't been done. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing... Like, you're in the high street, it's like, oh... And, like, the worst part is when you see someone, they see you, and then they try and avoid me. I'm like, no, you're the dickhead. I think it's because I talk a lot.
Sean, do you avoid your neighbours?
Well, especially when I'm breaking into their shed, yeah. Try to keep a very low profile. I'm very, you know, amenable to a bit of neighbourly... I mean, I don't like go too far. I don't want car keys in a bowl or anything like that, but... what I do, I find a very good way to catch your neighbours out, is I paint myself like a gnome. And when they just relax, I break out of character. And I go, oh, about the recycling.
Lorraine, do you avoid your neighbours?
No, not really. Because I live in Scotland and down here, I find it quite different. Up there, everybody talks to everybody. And down here, people are more reserved. In London, certainly, they're more reserved, and you don't really see them very often. And
reserved is a very nice way to put it, I think. So reserved, they will tell you to fuck off to your face.
And everybody does that horrible thing, you know, when you're in the lift, as you were saying, about you don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And everybody sort of never knows what to say, and they're looking at their feet and sort of looking at one another, and it's all a bit sort of awkward.
You know why they're doing that? Is because there's nothing to say in a lift.
But you have to try and think of something.
You don't, because what you do is you go, oh, we're in a lift, aren't we? You know, interesting fact, we're higher up than we were when I started this conversation.
Freddie, do you have neighbours?
Yeah, I lived down south for a while, which was a bit different. It's like people don't talk to people down south. You walk down the high street and you say, morning. It's like, fucking northerner, who's going to mug me? Move back north, which is lovely. You take your bin out, you have a chat with a neighbour as you do it. It's just common decency.
I grew up on Dartmoor. So essentially this question is, do you ever talk to that sheep?
And the answer is?
No, just kiss.
One of my neighbours came round once, and this is the other reason.
There you go, that's the end of that story.
They can hear me, because you know rooms have got vents in. My shower's got a vent that leads right outside. They can hear the voices I'm doing around my house. And I was walking along the corridor. I like to pick a song and sing it in a regional accent. That's what I get up to.
Can you give me an example of this, John? Give us an example.
Yeah, you give me a song, you give me a regional accent.
MC Hammer, you can't touch this.
In what accent? Pick one of the ones that I'm allowed to do on telly.
Oh, they're different ones for home, are there? a Jamaican patois.
You can't touch this. It's a fun game to play until the door goes and you think, oh, there are other people in the world. And the door went, it was one of my neighbours, and he went, oh, do you live here? And I thought, well, I'm not a confident burglar, am I? So, and I was embarrassed, and then he went, my rabbit's got under the fence. And he was a grown man, so I ended up winning that one. Grown man with a rabbit. What are you doing, mate?
Do you get on with your neighbours?
Well, you sort of have to have a relationship with your neighbours now, don't you? Because I get pissed and order stuff on the internet, and then I'm not there when it gets delivered. There was a day when I ordered 10 kilograms of fish food, some extra wide razor blades, and a mannequin's head. You can't really just pick that up and go, right, Neil, can you give me them parcels there, mate? I was out.
What kind of pissed were you?
I was that pissed when you think, I need to deal with this shit. So I've had enough. There was some fish in my garden that I didn't know about.
I'm going to feed the fish and then kill myself.
Well, the razor blades were for a wallpaper stripper, an extra wide one, and the mannequin's head is because I had a hat and I didn't know where to put it.
OK, so let's get some answers on this. We asked our audience, do you try and avoid contact with your neighbours, yes or no? What do you think, Sean?
Yes.
Yes, you think they do?
Yes.
No.
I can tell you it's close, but the answer is no. Only 45% of our studio audience try and avoid contact with their neighbours. I think it's important to know your neighbours' names. Harold, Madge and, of course, Toadfish. And the winner is the name of our final round. And here's your question. Best way to save money?
An ISA.
Die. Cheap, thrifty, innit? Low overheads. Or, another money-saving tip, always fill up at a supermarket just off the motorway, never at a service station. Cook a big dinner and freeze half of it, and never enter relationships or have any friends. Is that the answer?
Well, it's a depressing glimpse into your life.
What about getting a dead beastie?
A dead beastie?
Dead beastie in your hand,
Right.
and then going out for a meal, and then putting the dead beastie in the meal and then going, eek! Like that, and then they give you the free dinner.
Does that work in Dundee? I imagine if they find a wee beastie, they just go, protein.
What do you class as a beastie?
Well, a wee animal or something, or a half a worm, or...
Half a one? What are you doing the other half? Save that for next week.
Don't get carried away. Don't put a fox in a spaghetti. There's a fox in my spaghetti. This is unacceptable. Freddie, you ever saved money?
Yeah, shop at Giacomo.
Giacomo, for those of you that don't know, is a clothing brand for giants. Do you do clothes for regular-sized people?
Well, it depends how you look at it. I am classed as a medium within Giacomo.
You're a medium?
And it goes up to...
Who are they making clothes for? John, Freddie, could you just stand up just so we get an idea of, for a second?
Let's make me look like a dick again.
No, I don't think you're... Freddie, if you could just stand up.
Hope you get wee man.
John is a reasonable... Now...
I reckon the phone and toilet...
OK, best way to save money?
You might be tempted sometimes to think that an £8 haircut is probably worth the saving. But as someone who's had one...
They've shaved a little bit off there, haven't they?
Yeah. There's too much of me, I think that's what he thought. Too big you are. I'll try and trim you down at the side so you're not so intimidating for people.
You did get in that £8 a free pom-pom on the top.
Well, that putting your big shop through as loose onions in a self-service. Old trolley, £3.81.
I don't understand that.
Basically, self-service, put it all through and just pretend it's onions.
You pretend it's onions. What, you actually trick yourself into thinking it's onions?
I think it's onions. Don't let them know what you're doing. Press onions on the thing, weigh it. Before you know it, you've got a fucking trolley full of onions, mate. It's into a food.
OK, best way to save money. It's to do with food.
What's
do with food.
Eat less.
Eat in.
It's the right answer. Yeah. Yes, the best way to save money is not to eat out. The problem is, whenever I go to a restaurant, my girlfriend always orders the most expensive thing on the menu, a Zinger Tower Burger. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are 3 points for Sean's team, 3 points for John's team. It's a draw. Everyone's a winner. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.